The following is a special presentation of First Horizon's Green Sports Zone. This is the Pizza Inn Lily Million Show. Welcome back to First Horizon's Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pizza Inn Lily Million Show, where we cover everything on the diamond with the Greeneville Lady Devils softball team. We'll recap the last month's worth of games, and we'll look at what's ahead next. But first, as always, we need to go ahead and get a spot in first. So we'll be right back after a word from our messages here on First Horizon's Green Sports Zone. The Pizza Inn Lily Million Show is brought to you by Gateway Ford Nissan, Tommy's Plumbing, and Pizza Inn. Welcome back to First Horizon's Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pizza Inn Lily Million Show, where we cover everything on the diamond with the Greeneville Lady Devils softball team. As always, I'm joined here with Lady Devils head coach, Lily Million. Coach, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's a little hot outside today. Got a game coming up with South Green. We'll go ahead and mention that first, since we're only an hour away from first pitch. So it's fresh on your mind at the moment. What's the mindset going into today's game with South Green?
I mean, this is a big celebration. You know, I don't want them to overlook it. Like, this is a special day for us. But also, like, we've got to take care of business too. You know, I think it's sometimes, you know, when you play a tough schedule like we've had, sometimes you overlook certain games, you know, like local games or like, you know, games that you're at home, you know, you automatically have an advantage. But the approach today has got to be like, got to come out firing, got to work ahead, you know, all those things that we normally preach, but even more so today because it is a special celebration. So getting the win for our seniors. So I'm excited to see what happens.
And obviously, I mean, you see some of the streamers behind us right here. It is senior day or senior night. The locker room's decorated also. That's a nice little touch.
Yes.
I know there's a table outside for everything. And senior night's always a special day, and you've got five special seniors today that have meant so much to the program. How much have Kaylee, Bailey, Brinley, and Jamie meant to this program?
Yeah, they've meant a lot. You know, all of them have a different story, and I think, you know, I have a different relationship with each of them, but that's what makes it so special, and that's what, like, you know, that's why coaching is so special too, because they each, like, you know, I have a different relationship with them. You know, I speak differently to each of them. I coach each of them differently, and they've all done their part. You know, I think Kaylee's only been here 3 years and has made a huge impact. Briley's been here 1 year and made a huge impact. And the other three have been here all 4 years and they've done a huge impact. So I'm excited to see what happens tonight.
Senior night's always bittersweet, but it's always a fun day.
Yes. I mean, I think I asked a couple of them before the game. I was like, you know, how are we feeling? And they were like, it's sad, but it's not really sad to me. It's like the beginning of a new chapter. You know, we're entering postseason now. Like it's do or die at this point. So I mean, yes, it's sad. You know, this could potentially be our last game playing on this field this year. But I think it's exciting to see what's to come.
Absolutely, and let's look at the games that you've had since the last time we sat down. We sat down and we were talking about a long losing streak. You had a 6-game losing streak following that Science Hill game, and then you rattle off a 7-game winning streak after that. So what changed since that day we sat down? Because it was perfect when we sat down, because that was right in the middle of it. You started that winning streak that day on Good Friday with North Green. So what helped start that winning streak?
The North Green game kicked it off, but truly the start of that winning streak was the Crockett game, the big Crockett win at home. Jamie pitched a great game, but truly that day, like, it wasn't one person or a couple of them, but it was all of them. It was all of them all together. You know, Jamie pitched great, but they all did their job, and that's what kicked it off, that game, because that's a tough team, and they did what they had to do, and they got their win at home, and that's a big win. So that kicked it off.
And then a couple big conference wins also. You follow that with Volunteer with a 6-0 victory, and then Granger with a 3-0 victory. That helps your case in the position you're at right now, sitting at first place within the conference, and that was the third and fourth wins, a part of that winning streak. How important were those two games?
Super important. I mean, that changed the whole momentum of the conference. I think at that point, you know, I think, you know, we hadn't been playing to the best of our ability, especially conference-wise. Like, you know, we dropped one to Granger early, and we had been playing, you know, Cherokee, but we hadn't been playing them great. So I think right there it changed the whole momentum, and, like, they were like, hey, we've got a shot to go get this. And they do still have a shot to go get it. So, I mean, it really kicked it off right there.
And then you finished the winning streak with a 5-4 win over North Green, a 7-4 conference win over Cherokee, and then an 8-0 win over Chucky Doak. And you stumble into Westridge, you lose that one 4-2, and then we enter the Tiny Day tournament. And
Yes.
I love the Tiny Day tournament each year. We didn't get to speak before it last week, but how much do you enjoy participating in the Tiny Day tournament each year?
Yeah, I love it for the sense of like it's kind of like I reminisce, at times because like the Tiny Day was such a big thing, like, and it has been for years and years. And some of my favorite like high school softball memories come from the Tiny Day tournament. And I think it's even more special, like for Greeneville girls because it's prom. Prom is always on Tiny Day, and so it's just a big weekend. Great softball, and I feel like at this point in the season when Tiny Day happens, because most tournaments happen early, but Tiny Day happens so late. Teams are playing their best, and so you see everyone's best. So it's great competition. You see, local teams, but you also see teams you don't normally see. I think we played. I think Polk County,
East Hamilton.
Yes, and we had done our research, but it's hard to see. But I kind of like not knowing these teams and stuff, and I'm sure the girls feel the same because there are no expectations. You just go out there and win it. Play some ball and go win it. And so I kind of like it for that sense. But it was a great weekend. I wouldn't necessarily say we had the results we wanted, but there's only so much we can control, right? I can't control what bracket we were placed into. I can only control it if you go out there and win or lose. So I think from that point, once we're placed in our bracket, there's only so much we can do. We can go win it, and that's what we did. So I was proud of how the weekend turned out. Not super thrilled with how we played early on, but they did their job at the end of it. So.
And to correct myself, Chuckyduck and Westridge were a part of the Tiny Day tournament, but you're one of the rare coaches that I can ask this question to because you've participated in the Tiny Day tournament as a player and now as a coach. So
yes.
What's different participating in it as a player and a coach? Well, I mean, obviously coaching in it and playing in it, but how much different does it feel?
I think as a coach, I'm a little more relaxed, to be honest. I think, the whole element of prom and it being a local tournament, lots of people I think that as a player can really get to you. And I think, we were blessed this year because we got to play on our field, but that wasn't typically the case. You're typically going all over Greeneville, playing with these different fields and stuff. So I think this year was a little more relaxing than it typically is. But I hope the girls had fun, and it's always special to play, in your hometown. So even if it's not on your own field. So I think it's great that we have a local tournament like that, and that we get to see, local teams and teams not from here. So it's great.
And it's always good to end it with a championship.
Yes.
You defeat Union County 4-3 to win that championship on Sunday. So it doesn't matter what bracket you're seated in, it always feels good to leave the Tiny Day tournament with some hardware. So how good did it feel leaving this Tiny Day tournament on Sunday with a championship?
Yeah, it felt great. I think we had some, not necessarily me, but I think some people had some tough feelings about well, you're in the C bracket, but there's 5 brackets though. So I mean, we're not at the bottom bracket. Obviously, that's not our goal. Our goal is to be in the A bracket. The goal is to go win the A bracket, but there's only so much we can do. That we played how we played, and the results came out as they came out. And from that point, we got placed in the C, and we have to just do what we have to do. So I think, Sunday, I think there were some, hard feelings. And then we were supposed to play Sunday morning, and a team dropped out, and so they didn't get a game Sunday morning. That, I don't know, it could have helped, I don't know. But yeah, that we did as much as we could, and, that game, I think we were really slow moving that morning. We didn't play to the best of our ability, but they did their job. And, I mean, we tell them, a lot of times after the game, an ugly win is better than a pretty loss. So, I mean, a win's a win.
And the Tiny Day tournament is an important part of the season because it's kind of that weekend where you have fun and you focus on the Tiny Day tournament because there's so many games in so many days. And as soon as it's over on Sunday, there are 3 important weeks left in the regular season. We're in the midst of one right now where you play 2 very important conference games with Granger and Volunteer, and you split both of those. Let's talk about the first one on Tuesday when Brinley Jones just mows them down out there in the circle with 15 strikeouts in a 2-0 win over Granger. How crucial was that game in Brinley's performance on Tuesday?
Yeah, she pitched great Tuesday. I mean,
on the heels of Sunday's game also.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say. Pitching is tough, and I have a new appreciation for pitching and catching both as a coach rather than a player, because I was neither. So I didn't really truly understand it, but I have a new appreciation for it, especially, at this point in the season, they've thrown so much, and we're trying to keep their arms healthy. We've done more arm health stuff, been trying to be more conscious about like how much we're throwing them and stuff. But to throw Sunday and then come back on Tuesday and throw the way she did is just unbelievable. Her velocity was way up, and Brindley does not struggle with velocity, but pitching takes a toll on their bodies. Her and Jamie both, after they pitch, they're sore. And so we were anticipating her velocity to be a little down. Her spin typically works, well if she's thrown a lot, but her velocity, when velocity and spin are both working, she's unhittable like she was the other night. 15 strikeout, or 14, I don't know how many she had. It's crazy, and she did it. And I think that one of the reasons she does such a great job is, she is so focused when it comes to like these important games. She's able, I can just see it when I walk up to the field. Like Brindley is focused, she's in her headspace, a good headspace. So she's doing a great job right now, and I think it can be tough, at this point in the season, but she's doing a great job.
And then you go into last night's game with Volunteer, and you suffer a 6-2 loss in that one, which doesn't necessarily hurt you in the terms of the conference standings, because that still sets up next week's game for the regular season championship in that 1 seed. But what did you learn in that loss to Volunteer yesterday?
Yeah, it was, to be honest, it was really frustrating. We had told them, before the game, like, let's go win it. Let's not have this Tuesday, like, this next Tuesday what if game. Let's just go win it tomorrow. And then we come up there, we didn't play great, but we didn't pitch bad. Jamie and Brindley both did their job. Volunteer's a good hitting team. They're going to find a way on base. They make the ball move, and we tried to minimize as much as possible. But the reason last night was so tough was because we just weren't hitting the ball. We weren't having good approaches at the plate. And I think one of our team struggles this year has been how are we, overcoming adversity that we cannot control? We're getting calls outside of our zone. Okay, let's make an adjustment quicker in the count. Let's not get behind in the count and, leave it up to someone else to make the call. So I think this year, we've been struggling with that, and that's what got us last night. We were very concerned with, well, this pitch is not my pitch I want to hit, but it's being called a strike. Well, that's softball, and every umpire has a different zone. And it's your job as the player to make the adjustment, and we just weren't doing it last night. And it was obvious, in our hits and in our runs. We pushed 2 across last night, but they weren't RBIs. They were aggressive base running got us 2 runs. So we simply just did not do enough to play last night. And I'm hoping come next Tuesday, we'll make the adjustment a little bit quicker. We'll see the same girl next Tuesday. We've seen her twice now. So I'm hoping they come with a more focused mindset, picking a good pitch out early in the count. So we'll see what happens.
And we're down here to the end of the regular season now. Only 4 regular season games left now, so we'll go ahead and talk about those after the break. But first, we do need to get a word in from our sponsors first. So we'll be right back after these messages here on First Horizons Green Sports Zone.
Pizza Inn presents I Ate at Pizza Inn. I ate pizza at Pizza Inn. I ate a salad at Pizza Inn.
I ate pizza!
I ate it all.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and I'm inviting you to come and enjoy Greeneville's favorite hometown pizza, pasta, salad, and dessert buffet for just $8 all day, Monday through Friday. And then you can say,
we all ate at Pizza Inn.
At many dealerships, you get what you'd expect. Games, gimmicks, and shady sales tactics. At Gateway Nissan in Greeneville, expect the unexpected. Low prices, convenient service, and a great buying experience.
Get our Gateway exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty.
No worries for life.
You deserve the unexpected. It's the #1 reason you gotta get to Gateway.
Shop online at gatewaynissangreenville.com.
Or take the super short drive down Highway 11E to Gateway Nissan in Greeneville.
For over 30 years, Tommy's Plumbing has proudly served the Tri-Cities with a personal touch, because we're not just plumbers, we're family. From simple faucet repairs to full plumbing repiping, we have the experience and expertise to get the job done right. We also specialize in water heater and tankless water heater installations, helping you find the perfect solution for your home. Our technicians stand behind their work and always leave your space clean and spotless. Looking for a plumber who's fast, professional, and reliable? Call Tommy's Plumbing and let our family take care of yours.
Welcome back to First Horizons Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pizza and Louie Million Show, where we cover everything on the field with the Greeneville Lady Devils softball team. As always, I'm joined here with Lady Devils head coach Lily Million. So it's crazy that we're already down here to the end of the regular season. We have 4 games left. Of course, senior night today. We talked about it already with South Green at the beginning of the show, but finishing the year or the season with Daniel Boone, Volunteer, and West Green, all 3 on the road. What are you expecting in each matchup?
I mean, at this point in the season, we're taking it day by day. You know, I think the weeks can be so long, but it's just approaching every single game. And, you know, we're not done with conference. I think a lot of people are at this point. We're not done, you know, because we had some rainouts and some makeups and stuff. So I think, you know, the approach right now is still got to go get that conference. That's the goal at this point right now. But we have a few filler games in between. But, I mean, those still go on your record. I'd love to win them, you know. So I think we're just taking it day by day. You know, our approach changes per the team we play. So I think we're doing a good job of, like, preparing them, trying to prepare them. And they typically do a really good job of, like, taking what we say and rolling with it. But I'm excited to see, you know, what the last couple of weeks hold, because it is such a special time. You know, I think for some of them it's the end of a chapter. But then again, like, you know, what's to come. So, yeah.
And I want to ask about the Volunteer game, because obviously you've got South Green today and Daniel Boone before that Volunteer game, but I'm nobody shy to say that Volunteer game is the most important one left in the season, because it determines who wins that regular season championship and who gets that 1 seed in the district tournament. So, I mean, all bets are off when you go into Tuesday. What's the level of excitement and nerves going into Tuesday's game with Volunteer?
It's not really nerves, I would say. The only thing I'm a little bit nervous about is, like, you know, our stamina. At this point, we play Monday before we play Boone, a team that it's a good team. We're gonna have to play if we want to win. We can't just, you know, mosey on through there and get a win. We're gonna have to play come Monday. I worry a little bit about stamina, pitching arms, and everything, but I think they're doing a really good job this year of bouncing back pretty quickly. Especially, you know, I feel like I always talk about the pitchers, but they do, and I mean, they're the momentum drivers of the team. But Tuesday, you know, I'm not really nervous because I know what they can do. I've seen what they can do, you know, against that exact Volunteer team. It's just, you know, the process of getting it done. They've got to come in, good mindset, you know, an approach of like, hey, some confidence, hey, I'm going to win this thing. So I think, you know, if we come focused, we come ready, we'll come out with it.
4 games left for the Lady Devils. Of course, senior night today, once again. Kaylee, Bailey, Brinley, Briley, Jamie, that whiteboard over there serves as a teleprompter.
Yes.
That's the only reason I'd know their names.
Well,
and then,
the B's are crazy.
I think I said Brinley and Brinley twice in the opening. So,
it's all
Briley,
right.
I'm sorry if I did do that. I apologize. I'll say it twice now to make up for it. But after that, you've got Daniel Boone, Volunteer, West Green on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Daniel Boone slated for 5 o'clock in Gray on Monday, Volunteer and West Green at 5:30 on Tuesday and Thursday on the road. So if you do have the chance to check out the Lady Devils before the regular season ends, that's where you can find them at, outside of today against South Green, which we've got 40 minutes until first pitch. So, Coach, I'll let you get out there.
Well,
Best of luck
you.
today, and thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Pizza and Lily Million Show. We look forward to seeing you next time here on First Horizons Green Sports Zone.